What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. I hope you all are having a really great Memorial Day weekend. I hope you enjoy your 3 days off on whatever y'all doing out there, and like I said, I hope you enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. So, moving on from that, we got into Impact Wrestling tonight. I think I didn't do a review last week, or maybe I did, but there was a lot of things going on in this show in regarding to the Under Pressure pay-per-view theme show into next week, as there's going to be a lot of matches going down. They kicked it off with some video packages from Andrew Everett and DJZ, as they talked about both of them recovering from injuries from last year, especially DJZ, who died in Mexico and even had a ruptured fourth disc, and I think was his colon. I think this guy, I like DJZ, but he does get hurt a lot because he really did almost die in Mexico. You really look up his story; it's really some fucked up shit and kind of sick. But luckily he's alive. Even going for Madison Rain, what happened last week with her and Tessa Blanchard. But as they move on to the show, Don Callis is back on commentary with Josh Matthews, as the first match of the night would be OVE versus Aerostar and Drago, because we all know that Don Callis was attacked by Callahan a few weeks ago at some Destiny Pro Wrestling event. And there was something funny, I will say, when Josh Matthews asked Don Callis a question about Aerostar coming out, because he says, "Are you a believer?" And Don Callis said, "In what?" Because of the Lucha Underground and believers and stuff. He was like, "Believer in what?" And Lucha Underground, I believe, will be back next month, by the way, too. But both of the are really good match to kick off the show. But the focus of the story on here was once again with Eddie Edwards and Sami Callahan, as Eddie Edwards got out of a car with his wife Alicia holding a kendo stick, coming out, beating up OVE, causing a disqualification, and then beating up Sami Callahan with the kendo stick, and then choking him to death, pretty much so he couldn't breathe, choking the life out of him. And as he kept doing that, security had to keep coming out, as they kept calling him a psycho on commentary. Alicia kept saying, "It's over, it's over." Eddie Edwards tried to look crazy as much as possible, and he pretty much kept trying to take out Sami Callahan, but he was able to take the kendo stick and start beating up all the security guys with it and look crazy in the ring. Even though this feud has kind of somewhat lost its edge a little, I will say that, because I still don't know if this was a double turn between Callahan and Eddie Edwards. Is Eddie Edwards heel? Yes, the stuff he did at Redemption was great. The street fight at the whole House of Hardcore thing was kind of whatever, but it did follow the story. But is he still a face? Is he turning? He's talking about beating up OVE's wives in Ohio, and I'm like, this guy face a heel trying to kill Callahan in a hospital bed. So I'm not sure where this is going to keep going with these two, especially from a logic standpoint. I still don't know where it's going to happen next, but even went back to Eddie Edwards and Alicia, who actually had different clothes on, so I don't know when this was taped, but at least has some consistency. These two literally had two different clothes on from where they were outside, in the Impact Zone literally a few minutes ago. Now, all of a sudden, they got literally a whole different set of clothes on, both Alicia and Eddie Edwards. And say he was going to take out Callahan, as she tried to tell him, "You're becoming Sami Callahan, you're acting like him." And he said he wasn't, and he says, "You know what, it's not over. The street fight, it's not over." He says, "I want Sami alone. No ropes, no ring, in the middle of the woods." Even though Eddie Edwards has kind of fought in the middle of the woods before, if we're going to go with total non-stop deletion, when he went against Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight title, and they did fight all over the woods, which there was literally no finish. They fought all over the woods for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at a total non-stop deletion. But Eddie wants him in the middle of the woods so he could destroy him. So he's still trying to kill him. He really is trying to kill Callahan, but we'll see what happens next. Next was the Cult of Lee versus LAX, as LAX was still on their losing streak. The crowd was actually good out here, and actually were chanting LAX. It's probably one of the times when they were actually cheering really. Trevor Lee, a person, and I still feel like he's underutilized, still needs to get up somewhere. Caleb Conley is good, and I don't mind him being a team, but Trevor Lee should be going something higher than the X Division title at this point. Caleb Conley should really be in the X Division, because I know this company, these tag teams now, they really do. But LAX, I don't know, LAX just needs to, why did I say LAX? The Cult Elite needs something better. I will say that, especially Trevor Lee. But they were able to get the win over LAX, as Conley pretty much had a handful of types, as they still do this whole story with LAX losing their streak and losing everything with no Conan or Homicide around. LAX is just kind of, their story is actually really good, so I don't know what's going to happen next, but they're just, the whole empire is going to shit. Next, they interviewed Kongo Kong and Jimmy Jacobs, saying I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy. I'm sure he wrote that promo for Roman Reigns when he was a writer in WWE. And said he was going to take out Moose tonight, Kongo Kong, and destroy him. They had a KM and Fala basket, was actually pretty funny. I will say that is the KM way, as they win the Grado and Katrina. Pretty much asking Bob, like, how did that fat ass Grado get a girl like Katrina? And she said she was a chubby chaser, but looked kind of pissed. And Grado looked kind of pissed first. He was big bones. She said she likes big bones and stuff. So, I don't know, is Katrina going to turn on, or, I'm sorry, a.k.a. Winter, which no one does even notice in this company. You got to remember, she was here before people, but we don't mention that. I'm sure she's probably going to turn on Grado. The KM and Follow By thing is funny. They're the only team they're really actually kind of building on here right now, so at least they are a team, and it is pretty good. With both Ba and KM. One problem I had throughout this show, and I've said this about the GWN moments of the week. Listen, I know it's odd enough when you play these long matches from years ago, but why are we playing a whole promo segment that was in 2013, and none of these people, to what I saw in this clip, I know it's part of the footage and everything, but they're not even part of his company anymore. This was Lockdown when Jeff Hardy was going against Bully Ray for the world title. I remember Brooke Hogan's on the side, and this is when the Aces and Eights thing happened, and Hulk Hogan being part of it. Like, none of these people are in this company anymore. And they did the whole promo segment, and Aces and Eights attacked, and Team TNA, which once again had those people in that video, weren't even in the, they're not even on this show anymore. Some people do say that at least Impact actually played a clip with Hogan before WWE could even bring him even back on TV, because I just said that none of these, this was a long promo segment, okay? And I remember this promo segment in the Impact Zone when it was more live at the time. But come on, look where all these people are right now. And yes, Jeff Hardy was not, or Bully Ray was not in this company not that long ago. We already know why Jeff Hardy is gone, and Jeff's back in WWE with his brother. We all know he's the U.S. champion. Bully Ray is in Ring of Honor right now and is a WWE Hall of Famer. Brooke Hogan, I don't know. Hulk Hogan, proven to be a racist piece of shit. And, won that Gawker case. I'm sure he won a lot of money, so I'm allegedly saying about WWE. We'll save that for another time, though. But yeah, they just didn't need to play that segment. I'm sorry, I don't mind the moments of the week, but keep it quick like the Pluto TV ones. Don't play the whole thing on the TV, or else people don't really want to buy it. Show a quick preview. I think I've said this before. Madison Rain was interviewed saying, since she's going against Tessa Blanchard next week, she says, this division was built on respect, and she was going to come back in a commentary booth to call to action, but she does not condone bullying or whatever, even though Madison Rain is part of beautiful people, which bullied a lot of people. Tessa Blanchard pretty much came, said this doesn't concern you, and called her a stay-at-home mom. Said, why are you even here? Z and E were being interviewed about winning the tag titles until Scott Steiner and Eli Drake came up. Steiner called them punk asses, and you didn't do diddly squat. Me and Drake just stood on a banana peel, and Eli Drake tried to break it up and even tried to blame Eli out there, Scott Steiner, saying, you messed up the finish of the match there. You can't technically call Z and E fat asses because they're not fat asses, but I don't know. Listen, Steiner's funny to listen on the mic. I don't care. Scott Steiner is just hilarious. I've said this many times. Him in the ring right now, it's not that bad. I will say that, but he's hilarious on the mic. Got some fat asses. He's fat! Still funny. Matt Sydal winning against El Hijo de Fantasma, a.k.a. King Cuerno, for the X Division Championship. Not a bad match. Actually really good. especially with Seidel getting the win with a pump had no power drive. I will give him that. That was really good. This is actually a really great match for both these guys. Just this crowd was so dead, you didn't know what to do with him. With this, it was really a dead crowd. So it could, like I said, the match was really good. I know people don't really believe in Seidel's whole character of this yoga namaste thing, but still puts on some great matches out there. I give him that for the X Division title. Just need somewhere to go with it. LAX back in their what I guess their hangout or clubhouse, which pretty much Santana and Ortiz saying, you know, the whole empire is going to crap. We're losing our shit, and they didn't know what to do. And as they were just breaking stuff, Santana, the next thing you know, King comes in, aka Eddie Kingston, which person I said should have been in LAX a long time ago, but I blame Jeff Jarrett and them ever since they had came in to, you know, take over things. Him and Bram pretty much disappeared after that, because these guys were he was in DCC before, but I said this guy fits right in with LAX. But Eddie Kingston was back, and you know, he was gonna give some business update, and that Conan and Homicide. Okay, yeah, they got jumped, but they at the safe spot right now. We all got know Conan's not here because of I believe he had recent hip surgery, so that's why he wasn't at the tapings. And hell, where the hell's Diamante at? I heard she's still injured, but I'm heard she'll be back soon. But Kingston went on to say there's a chain of command of how things go. It's Conan, it's Homicide, and then it's me. I'm in charge of the New York operations. And you know, shipments are back up and good. Security's up and good too. But you know, what you guys are doing right now, y'all on a losing streak. Alright? And y'all making a bad name in the streets right now for LAX. So y'all need to get that hunger back like y'all were when y'all's in that concrete jungle out there. There's gonna be blood in, blood out, alright? So we gotta really get this shit back popping. So Eddie Kingston being back, good promo. I give him that out there. I'm glad they found something to do with him. I'm glad they brought him back. Fits right in with LAX. I got no problem with that. I believe people say Conan takes over LAX Creative, so they're really doing good with this. I don't know when Conan or Homicide will be back, but allegedly that I think Homicide and Kingston were tag team champions of Ring of Honor, if I remember. So I'm not sure about that. I don't know when Diamante is coming back. I would love to see Low Key back in LAX too. I thought he fit the whole thing too. It was a really super group right there at the time in that Impact, but. Low Key, you can't try. I don't know, man. Low Key is so in and out of his company all the time. You don't know when he'll come back, and he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. But it was, you know, Eddie Kingston being part of it. I like it. They played an Austin Aries video package of him going against Pentagon Jr. next week for the world title. Pentagon used intimidation against his opponents, so he says he's going to be the real one true champion. As you know, Austin Aries is the belt collector. Good promo, really great as a heel out there. So I liked it. Next, they went to Desmond Xavier versus Petey Williams to face Brian Cage next week at Under Pressure, since Brian Cage on this World Destruction Tour. This was a really good match. I liked it. I wish we see more of Desmond Xavier. It's like he's in and out of his company a lot, but he really pushed him good when he was, you know, winning the Super X Cup at the time. I still like how they booked the X Division. Him and Petey Williams really good. They kept dodging each other's finish out there. That was kind of, they were telling a good story. So, as you know, they countered it. They really did hype. I'm sure they were going to lose to Brian Cage next week, but I did like it. Xavier hit his, I think it's that Eddie Morrow's kick or something, or the waterfall kick for the win. I thought he would have did like that final flat, was his finisher, the final flash or something, 630. Was really good, so that's what I thought he was probably going to hit. But, yeah, he hit the kick after. I hit the waterfall kick, so I did enjoy the match, and P. Williams pretty much held up Desmond's hand after that victory. Allie was in the back as she kind of had Rosemary's clothes on in a crucifix state, like with the skull bones and the hooded vest. Everybody says she's possessed now or something, but there was the clips from the whole Rosemary funeral, and that there was a message in blood on the window or mirror saying, "Aura." Saying don't let the darkness consume you. We're saying B as in Bunny and R as in Rosemary. So I guess she's possessed, or I don't know. Allie's at the channel or inner darkness now. I'm not sure where this whole crazy feud is going with Sue Young and Rosemary and wherever Rosemary will be back in Alley, but it is really interesting, I will say that. And it'll be a last rights match. So I'm sure it's a casket match next week now, as in a last rights match. Moose went against Kongo Kong, which Don Callis pretty much called Moose. Mr. Impact is a dumb name, he says. He kind of had to come off that. Moose really needs to be rebooted, definitely. The match with Kongo Kong was pretty good, I will say that. It wasn't too bad. Moose hit the spear, tried to make this look good as it was. Jimmy Jacobs was not out there, but he was attacked by the Mystery X guy, which I don't know who that Mystery X guy is yet. But we'll have to find out and see whenever he pops up, because he did attack Jimmy Jacobs, and taking him out as of this week. I don't know what's really gonna happen next week on Under Pressure. It is a good show. Looking forward to. They really did kind of hype up the card, have hyped up this pay-per-view themed show. So I'm hoping it is really good next week. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, or maybe we'll see what a Mystery X attacker is next week. But I don't know. But I'm out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace out. Check out my reviews, comment, and subscribe. And peace out.